I am to end daylight savings time. First off, daylight savings was brought about by George Hudson in 1895, but it didn't actually happen until 1916 when Germany decided to use it for World War I to preserve coal, and it eventually spread to Europe and it got to the U.S. It was dropped after World War I, but it came about in World War II. And after World War II, the U.S. gave the power to the states to decide to use it or not. Today, Hawaii and part of Arizona and places in the seas don't use it, but most of the U.S. does, and a lot of countries outside the U.S. do too. It was passed by Congress in 1966. It was called the Uniform Time Act, and it standardized the start and end dates of daylight savings for states who wanted to use it. A lot of Americans, 43% of Americans last year said they didn't think it was needed anymore. And that back then, about a century ago, that saving energy costs was more important, but now electricity is used for a lot more, and it's not that big of a concern to use it to save energy. And even studies show that the effect is minimal and that daylight savings doesn't save that much energy anymore. And also, it was also originally used a lot in the U.S. for farming because I thought it would help farmers. But now farmers even are saying that it's inconvenient because they run off of when the sun comes out, and changing the time of day isn't really going to change when they work or affect them. And on top of that, there's a lot of negative effects that come with daylight savings. Sleep deprivation is one of them, and it said that about an average Americans lose about 40 minutes of sleep that Sunday night when daylight savings happens, and it just causes people to be a lot more groggy and lazy throughout the day because they're losing sleep and they're not in as good as a mood. And it also said that like the sun rises later, which makes because the sun rises later, it makes it harder for people to wake up in the morning. And there's also health effects in the body, like chemicals that are affected negatively by daylight savings. One of them is the body's natural rhythms, cortisol, a stress hormone. It's important to our metabolic activity, and it reaches its lowest during the middle of the night and it peaks in the morning. But daylight savings causes the peak to be an hour later, which creates more sleepiness, and people tend to be more lazy in the morning. And there's a study found by the Journal of Applied Psychology that proved this to be true. Another negative thing is that heart attacks increase because people are more stressed and they don't get all the sleep they need, and more car accidents happen when daylight savings happens because people are more tired, and when you're tired and you're driving in the dark, you're more prone to getting in an accident. So overall, I think that daylight savings isn't really causing any benefit, and it's causing more harm than good, so I think it should end.